Hello, welcome back to my podcast. For those who don't know me, my name is Marikia, and this is M's perspective. So in this podcast, I tend to actually express things from my point of view or hold an opinion about something. So what this podcast really does, it kind of encourages everybody to have an opinion, to have like a perspective, or like share their ideas based on how they best believe it, because we all have different opinion and different perspectives. So just because my perspective might be different from yours, it doesn't deem you to be right and me wrong, and it can be also vice versa. So if you're a first listener, please go listen to my previous podcast. I've got a couple episodes on different type of topics, on different type of ideas and perspective on things, based on how I view them and based on maybe my belief, I would call them. So please tune in. So today I'm bringing a topic that's been given by somebody, and they wish, or they've asked me to talk about this topic. And this topic is in regards to like I wouldn't know how to title this message, but it's basically based on how people tend to actually hold judgment. I feel like in my first podcast that I ever did, I talked about like how it's not good to judge people, but I don't think I actually dive more deep on this level that I'm going to be diving in today. So this is basically in a way of the fact that how as humans we tend to hear stories. For example, you might come and give me a certain story about somebody, something that you probably heard, or like uh something that you've heard, but and then when you come to deliver that message, you actually twist this story, and you tend to actually emphasize more or seem like you're being too judgmental on the one side of the story without listening to the other side of the story. So this message is just the way I view it. And I'm a big sucker for the fact that I don't like people who judge. And you will realize actually that's what my podcast basically focuses about. It's like I don't want to judge anybody because I don't know your story, I don't know like your journey, so I'm not gonna judge you because I will never know when you're gonna change. So the same. So my point of view is the fact that when you hear a story about somebody, or if somebody comes and gives you a story that you were not privy to yourself, or like you did not have a first hand information about it, you were not there to like witness the information that's being delivered to you, I will actually advise you, or I will advise myself as well, the fact that it's not a good thing to actually take that message and actually like defend it with everything that you have, trying to prove a point that it's true, because you don't know like whether it's true or not. And on the other hand, it's like it doesn't matter if it's like your best friend telling you this, your parent telling you this, somebody that you're really dearly, even whether it's your husband, whether it's your wife, whether it's like your partner, girlfriend, boyfriend, fiance, any of that, even if it's like the people that you trust with your all, I don't believe that it's actually good to believe a story or to believe information that you did not encounter yourself, like you did not experience that story or that information yourself. So for example, your partner might come and tell you some so and so. For example, it's like, hey, guess what, Marikia did this and this, Marikia got into this and this, like, and they're not really sure about whether that's true or not. It's because they've heard, maybe this is a message that's been surfacing around, or it's like a rumor that's been going around in the community, or it's a rumor that's coming from a friendship group. It's like a rumor that's just circulating everywhere, and then he hears that rumor, and also he hears it in the crowd, and he also comes with the firm, like he's really admit on the fact that what he's heard, what the information that these other people have provided to them is true, and they come share it to you, and they share it like with so much passion that you will actually believe like, yo, he was there, like, yo, he actually had, he's telling me something he knows. And then you become the next victim who also carries that story with so much confidence that you will defend yourself to a point where somebody will think that you were actually there to actually witness or encounter that story. So it's like you're circulating information and you're delivering information, which to one extent it might be true, to one extent it might be a false information, but you're literally just, it goes in a circle. It's just like it keeps on going, and that message keeps on expanding, and in that instance you're either like actually damaging someone's image and you are not aware. It's like you coming and saying like, I heard it from this person, to excuse your behavior of contributing to the fact that you actually caused the damage on someone's image. It's not a way to go. Like, you need to be held accountable, because if just because you heard something, if that person personally did not come to tell you, hey, this is what happened, da 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 da, they give you a first-hand information, and you actually base your evidence based on the fact that that's what they've actually told you, then you're delivering information in the way that you shouldn't be delivering it. And honestly, I don't understand why we tend to get caught up in the fact that we want to feel included. So I feel like the need to feel like we're included, that's why we actually take the information that we're not 100% about, and we just like to share it among everybody else, and we just want, it's like you want a conversation, it's like you want something to talk about, so you decide to actually sit down and talk about. I'm not going to say it's false, but at the end of the day, for me, it's like you don't have a finished or like a true information that one should be believing. So for you to sit there and start, I wouldn't call it gossiping, but again, it's somehow gossiping. I really don't know the best word to use for that. So I wouldn't like encourage that type of attitude, and I wouldn't like encourage that type of, I wouldn't personally want to be in that atmosphere where I'm having to talk about somebody and we're talking about a thing that I know that I didn't experience it, I didn't encounter, I don't know anything about it. And also the judgment that comes from people is just like, yo, what are you doing? Like, for example, just sitting that, like, just feel like, imagine yourself in that position. And we tend to fall into the trap of the fact that we think that just because somebody has repeated a certain action with time, we tend to think that they wouldn't change. Like, for example, I might know you from behaviors that you had 10 years ago, or behaviors that you had like 5 years ago. And as humans, we're revolving. Like, we evolve like on a daily basis, on a yearly basis, on a monthly basis, because we reflect, and you just want to like do better, or you want to change. So for the fact that you hold somebody accountable for the actions that they did in the past, because we become more easy to believe a story or to believe an information that comes to be a little bit similar to what those actions they had in the past. So if somebody just comes and be like, hey, did you see Marikia? Let me just use a simple example. Did you see Marikia? She's been drinking alcohol, like, and let's say I drank alcohol back in the days, like 10 years ago. That's when I used to, but I happen to be like, you know what? I'm gonna be clean. I'm gonna go sober, and I'll never touch alcohol. And I've been doing that I've been doing a good job at it, and I haven't touched it. But because I've surrounded, or I've actually interacted with people who are in that space where alcohol is involved, then people are easily to associate me with the fact that I'm also drinking. So it's like that that's like the trap we fall under. It's like, just because you knew me that way, so you see me associate myself in that environment, you're easily to judge the fact that, yeah, that's what they do, you know? So it's like, this message, all I'm trying to say, it's like, be careful with the stories that you hear, because not every story that you're going to hear is true. And also, be careful to not just hear stories that did not come from the person themselves. Like, you don't know the other side of the coin, so don't jump to a conclusion, and don't jump to be so excited to be part of a conversation that you know is wrong. I personally think like it's a sin to just sit around and talk about somebody. I take it that way. Like, it's like, if you know you're not talking to empower people, you're not talking to admire people, you're not talking to like think of a way that you can actually help somebody grow and develop, and also if you're not talking to actually find a way to actually show somebody how they can do better in life, then I feel like anything else to me, I just feel like it's wrong. And I don't know, just that's just the person I am. It's really wrong. Like, so the set, I've said this before and I'll say it again. Like, I've said this in a couple of my podcasts. If you wouldn't want somebody to sit around talking about you, what are you doing? Don't do the same thing. Don't sit down and talk about people, and let's not jump to conclusions about things that we know nothing about. Okay, if that's something that you've planted in your mind and you've actually made it a reality and you want to make it, it's like you want it to be so true that you think, so you want to share the false truth that's been sitting in your mind, and you want to implant those false truth into other people's mind. So it's like you're poisoning people's mind without realizing that you're doing it, or you're actually just a person who seeks that attention to poison other people about other people's life, or about the information that you actually have no proof about. It's like, be careful. Like, me, I'm not talking because like it's been done to me personally. I feel like if you can talk about me, I really could care less, because I'm that type of person. Like, you can talk about me, good for you. That's literally the person I am. Like, I could really care less if somebody talked about me and they just circulated false information about me. But the moment that you come and sit and talk to me about somebody that you don't know nothing about, like, I'm gonna question you to a point where you'll be like, why am I being interrogated? I'm like, yeah, you're being interrogated because you're bringing me information that I didn't ask about, and you're bringing me information that you have no proof about. First of all, were you there? Were you there when this happened? Did you ask that person and they told you that's what they did? Where did you hear the information from? The moment that you tell me that you didn't, it's something that's just the community is discussing. It's something like, just because. And the other problem that we have is the fact that you think just because more than 2 people or more than 5 people are saying the same thing, we fall into a trap thinking that just it's true. But it's not. Just because more than 10 people are speaking and repeating the same story doesn't really deem it to be the right information. Because it's the same thing when you're actually going on social media or you're doing a research. You will have false information, you will have false medias posting things that are not true. It's not like the right source of information. So that's why you research deeper. You go into a deeper research to find like, what is this information? Is it a first-hand information? Is it like a secondary information? Is it like a primary information? You research deeper. So, and a lot of sources will repeat the same thing, but it doesn't mean that it's true. It's just because they're trying to sell, if that makes sense. It's like they're trying to sell for the business. That's how I'll put it. It's the same thing in reality. Just because more than 10 people are speaking the same language, it doesn't mean that language is true. It doesn't mean that story is true, because one person might have heard it from one person, and then that person passes the same information to another person, and the other person passes it to another person. So it's like a twisted story that's going around and circulating around the community. So technically it's not true until the person who is being talked about actually tells you that that's right, you know, until you actually sit yourself down and be like, hey, I've been hearing this about you. I just wanted to check that you know what's happening in the community. And I really just want to, it's like you can do it as a welfare check, and you can do it as a person who actually cares for that person and is concerned and just wants to go and communicate and talk to them. And if you have your own sneaky way because you're a sneaky and noisy person that you want to be knowing everyone's business, then you can do it in a smart way where you actually go and seek the right information from the actual person who's being talked about. Then I'm not saying that then you can go on and spread the news. No one is going to tell you to spread the news as if you're spreading the gospel. You're not. You can keep it to yourself. You can literally keep it to yourself. But again, if you're going to spread that news, at least spread the right information, spread the right news so that people are not misled and people are not like put in position to actually judge when they wouldn't have if you didn't bring the false information. And I'm not encouraging that just because you hear a story that you jump on to start talking, you jump on to start like believing, because the same way that you're believing things about other people that are not true, that is the same way other people are also entitled to believe things about you that are not true, and you shouldn't be feeling bad because guess what? You can't do bad, or you can't be out there like spreading the news that's not correct about other people, and then when the tables are turned and it's about you, then you start getting offended. The things that you wouldn't want to be done to you, don't do to others. That's how I would say it. So the moral of this message, although I feel like I can still talk about so much and give a little bit more examples for those people who probably don't understand what I'm talking about. I feel like I've covered everything to actually get where I'm coming from. It's the fact that don't just believe everything you hear, like, and just because you heard it, it doesn't mean that you should talk about it. Okay, keep it to yourself. It doesn't kill if it doesn't like get spread around. Mind your business. That's literally what I'm just gonna say. Mind your business and just don't hold people just based on their past. Don't just believe that people can't change. People change, people change in an hour. In a blink of an eye, somebody can change. So for you to think that just because you've heard a certain thing about somebody 2 hours ago, 4 hours ago, they're going to repeat the same action straight away. I'm not saying that to be naive. Don't be naive and don't be stupid. Technically, still believe things, but the way you carry yourself talks so high of your character and the type of person you are. So don't sit there and think that you're perfect, because nobody is perfect. Okay, nobody is perfect, and we all thrive to grow. We thrive on developing and becoming the better version of ourselves. So don't think that just because you're thriving for a better version of you, that somebody else is not also thriving and wanting to better themselves. Okay, so before you believe a message and before you start going and running your mouth and saying things that you shouldn't be saying, or saying things that you just heard from your friend or your partner or whatever, check the message, check the story. Does this line up? Be smart yourself. Think about it yourself. Like, if you even have to ask for proof, just ask it. Don't let somebody tell you, oh, I know it's true. And then when you ask them, why do you know it's true? And they just tell you, because my husband told me, or because my partner told me, because my mom told me. So what if they told you? Do they show you proof? Do they show you proof? Because if they didn't show you proof, then literally you have nothing to talk about right now. And this conversation is going nowhere because you're here being so judgmental about somebody's life that you know nothing about. And you're literally running forward to just make false accusation, because in that moment, that's the story that has no proof to it. It becomes an accusation, and it becomes an assumption, and assumptions can never be true. Okay, it's just like people need to understand that assumptions are never true, because until you have the actual evidence about something, assumptions. You're allowed to make assumptions, but assumptions mean nothing. So that's just the message for today. Don't feel like I've been lecturing you guys. I haven't, but I'm just like, I just want you to be so smart before you go talking things, or at least before you start believing stories and information from people that you think that are trustworthy just based on the relationship that you have with them. So thank you for listening, and for those who are first listeners again, please go check out my podcast, and I will hope to see you guys soon with a new podcast. Ciao.